All right, guys, let's take a look around ProTools so that we can kind of get our bearings about what is happening here and what some of the buttons do. I'm going to zoom in every once in a while. I'm going to get myself out of the way. And I've just imported a track, a single track, just so we can navigate way around here. First of all, I don't like, you'll see that there's another window behind. I'm going to leave that alone. This is what we call the edit window. This view, that's the mix window back there. We're going to leave that alone for right now. We toggle back and forth between those two by hitting Command equals. We'll see them both by just toggling back and forth. However, let's take a quick look at what each of these are. So when I first open this up, I don't like to hit the maximize button. When I hit the maximize button, you'll see that all the windows, the toolbar goes away unless you touch it. That drives me a little bit crazy sometimes, so I always keep it like that. And then I just grab the bottom window or the bottom corner, and I make that as big as possible there. But let's go through all of these things. Number one, I don't use shuffle very much. Shuffle means that we can place this track at a particular spot. Back that up. It means that when we drag something in, it comes up against the one behind it. It's kind of weird. Spot will say that we can put these things up at a particular spot. When we drag a new track in, it will actually ask us, where do you want to put that thing? We don't use it very much. We will spend our time on slip today, which means that our edits can be anywhere we want them to be. If we are on grid, it means that our edits will jump chunk by chunk as per what our grid, those lines in the background, are going to say. This little button right here, up and down, doesn't do anything to the loudness or the gain, but it is just to show the display of our waveforms. So it makes the waveforms bigger and smaller. So it doesn't make things louder, doesn't make things quieter. It's just our display if we want to zoom in on something like that. This is for MIDI. We don't have a MIDI thing right here, but it does the same thing for our MIDI notes. These two buttons are our zoom left and right, kind of like the zooming in on the waveform, but we're not going to use that because that's a slow way to go. We're going to use as many keyboard shortcuts as we can, and I'm going to zoom in on something else right here. This little A to Z right here in the corner is important. Click on that and it turns gray or it turns yellow. Keep that thing yellow. When that is yellow, that means that all of our keyboard shortcuts will work for that window. You'll see there's another one of those right there, which is silly. We don't use that. You'll see if we click there, the big window has turned gray. We don't care about controlling that window with our single keyboard shortcuts. When this thing is yellow, it means that we can use one finger keyboard shortcuts to control our main window. There's another one of those off to the right, and we don't care about it right now. So I'm going to use the letter R and the letter T to zoom in and to zoom out. R and T to get in and out. Incidentally, if we grab this little line right there, I can drag down and drag up to make that track bigger. Alternatively, you can right click on this little ruler. If you right click on there, you can say, oh, that's a medium size. I want to see large. Oh, I want to see jumbo. And now we can have a bigger waveform to work on. Sometimes that's nice. Let's work our way back through these things. This is called the zoomer. And if we click on that thing, you'll see that we have a magnifying glass here. And that means that we can highlight a section, and that now fills up the entire window. If we want to back out, I hit Option or Alt if you're on a PC in order to back our way out. So it's either zoom in with a click or draw a line, and that whole thing zooms into the width of the window. Incidentally, we will get to this by hitting, we'll keep our fingers kind of resting, our left hand resting on the F buttons. F5 will get us there. This will be F5, F6, F7, F8. You can get to any of these by hitting F6, 7, or 8. I like hitting this little barrier around the outside, and you'll see they all line up. I can just get to there by 6, F7, or F8. This is called the trim tool. This is the selector, and this is the grabber. Let's see what they do. This is called, oops, there it is. That's the multi-select tool. And some people like it, some people don't. I kind of do like it. But it takes a little bit, usually the guys who have been working in Pro Tools for years and years, they don't like it because that's kind of a new new invention, a new implementation by Pro Tools. But let's take a look here at what each of these things does. If we are near the edge and you grab that with the trim tool, we get to, oh, sorry, I'm on grid mode. I'm gonna go to slip mode right there. And now we can trim off part of our waveform, and that disappears. It is not gone. In Pro Tools, we have non-destructive editing, so I can just grab that and pull it back, and it's still there, all the way back to the beginning. So if I want to pull away that much, there it is, it's gone. Another way we can do it is to use the selector tool. And here I will just select a section. If I want to delete that, I'll just hit the delete button and it's gone. If I want to bring that back, I'll come back to the trim and pull it back. Easy. If I want to, for example, delete that, I can use the grabber tool and grab the whole window, the whole waveform, and move it over. So this moves your waveform. I'm going to just Command Z to get me back to where I was. So what then does the multi-tool do, or the smart tool? Notice that there's a center line here in our wave, in our track. If I'm above the line, I have the selector tool. If I am below the line, that turns into the grabber tool, and I can move things. If I am on the line but close to the edge, that turns into the trim tool. So where you are makes a difference. And the reason why I like to do this is because when you decide to trim like this, you can easily go up and grab the square. And when you grab the square, I'll zoom in here for us to see, that is a fade. And you can see that I can fade into that word right there. If I come here, let me just move myself along here. Shift and scroll will roll me down the track a little bit. Let's say I want to make a cut here. I'm going to cut that open. I'm going to delete. I want to bring this over, and I will crossfade that. Up at the top will be just a regular old fade in one direction, but down at the bottom, I actually make a crossfade. This is only if you are in the Smart tool. So again, zooming, that's F5, F6, F7, F8. So I keep my hands on a regular keyboard right there on those four buttons, F5, F6, F7, F8. If you want to get to this multi-tool, you hit any two of those, 4 or 5, oh my goodness, F6, F7, or F8 at the same time, and you will get the multi-tool. Or else you come up and just hit this little border in order to get there. That's great. And that's really the ultimate, the quick walkthrough. If you want to start anywhere, place the cursor, hit the space bar.
Now I drink iced coffee with cream.
And that's how we start and stop. Space bar to start, space bar to stop. If you want to repeat a section, I'm just going to zoom out with the R. I'll take this little section. I'm going to repeat it. I can go up here and right click on the play button and say loop it, yes or no. I'm going to loop it with the yes. And now
I'm tired of saying milk. I'm tired of saying milk. I'm tired of saying milk.
And there it'll loop. If I just click that section and hit the space bar.
I'm tired of saying milk. That's all. I'm tired of saying milk.
We get it again, just because this is selected. If I don't want it to do that, right click, take off the loop, and
I'm tired of saying milk. That's all. They kept giving me milk with ice. So I was like, I'm gonna say.
There it is. There's one more thing. I'm on a laptop, so this is not going to be easy for me to do, but this nudge value. I will jump to this. If you're doing music, we will sometimes keep that in bars and beats. So we are on bar 4, beat 2. But when we're doing dialogue, we will keep this, hit the little down arrow, and we'll be on minutes and seconds, which is great. We'll see how long this project is that we're working on. Movies, dialogue, television shows, they're all in minutes and seconds. And this nudge value is going to be important for us, especially when we get to audio 35, and you are going to be moving sound effects around. But we'll be doing that as well here. This nudge value is 10 milliseconds. 1 millisecond is a little bit bananas. It's too small. It's hard to move stuff. It's hard to tell you're moving anything. 100 milliseconds, 1 millisecond. This tells you that when you select a section and then use the keypad, can I bring this up here? The plus and minus buttons here on the number pad, not here, this doesn't work, but on here, plus and minus, you will be able to nudge your that section left or right by the nudge value. So that's why this is an important thing. Then you'll maybe bump that up or bump that down depending on how much you want to move things left and right. But for the most part, spacebar, start and stop, and then these slip and grid is where you're going to be, and then F5, 6, 7, and 8 is where you're going to spend your time. All right. Have a good day.